guys, welcome back. This is Sherry. Thank you for watching today. Today I am working on a layout, and this is actually in response to a challenge issued by Jen Scow. She is here on YouTube, and she just reached her 500 subscribers. So she is having a giveaway, and to participate, to be a part of that giveaway, she's issued a challenge. The challenge is to create a layout using punches. And so I wanted to participate. I haven't used punches in a long time, even though I have quite a few of them since I got my Cameo. I don't really do my I really haven't used punches a whole lot, but I thought, hey, this sounds like a fun challenge. I'll dust those things off and get started and actually play along with that challenge. So I've got my punches there stacked up on the left. You can see I'm going to be punching just different pieces of paper. What I'm using for this layout, I am using the double scoop kit from Studio Calico, and it is from September 2013. It is an older kit. I'm embarrassed to say I have a stack of kits that from Studio Calico that are still unopened and have not been used. And I was a subscriber to the Kit Club for a while, and then when I started Project Life, I kind of got away from doing so many layouts. As I've talked about before, I had kind of gotten away from doing layouts for a while, and so my kits just began to stack up, and I did cancel my subscription, of course, eventually, but I do still have several. I have a lot of kits that are still not used, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. I think it was Sarah Swan on YouTube that was talking about that, using some of her older kits and getting those used up and on a layout. And so I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to pull mine out and start using those. And my family doesn't care; they don't know the difference if it's a current kit or not on a layout. So it's still a really cute product and great kits. So I thought I'm going to start pulling those out and trying to at least use part of those up. So that's what I'm using on this layout, is the kit from last year, September 2013. So what I'm doing is I had this idea to just do strips of different punches, strips of paper, and place them somewhat randomly on the page, almost like in a from left to right pattern. And so here I am, I'm just kind of laying those out, and I did select different patterns of the papers because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over those with gesso. So you're still going to see a little bit of the pattern come through, but not a lot, which I wanted, but you're going to actually see the texture from the punches come through. And so I am just now placing those, and I do love that diagonal stripe paper. That is just one of my favorites in that kit. And I'm kind of sad that I'm going to be covering it up, but it's so pretty. But I have some left over, so I'm trying not to hoard and just use up papers. So you're going to still see a little bit of that stripe come through after I put the gesso. So what I'm doing is I'm just applying the gesso to that, and it's going to pretty much cover those up. Now, some of those will be covered pretty much like completely with the white gesso. Some of those the pattern will still kind of sneak through. And so my plan was to go ahead and just apply the strips of paper from the punches and go over those with gesso just to give it some texture. I do like that the punch shape shows through, and I don't know, I kind of had this idea and was just kind of going for it. So we'll see how it turns out. Like I said, I usually get about this point. I'm going to start applying color, and I usually get about to this point and go, oh my gosh, what have I done? This is a mess. And but I just plow through and just keep going, and sometimes it turns out okay, sometimes it still doesn't, but I think that this turned out okay. And what I'm going to be using is just straight watercolors. I have a new palette there that I've never used before, so I'm going to be just using that and applying some watercolor over the top of it. That pink there ended up being a little bit darker than I had planned, but I'm kind of took some water and thinned it down. And I'm just trying to do just like a variation from pinks to orange to yellow to even down to a green, to just kind of give it a, not really necessarily a rainbow, but kind of like a rainbow effect, I guess. And I do love when I painted it with the colors, how you see the pattern from those punches come through, and which was kind of like what I had planned. And I do love the ombre background paper, that green going to the blue. I thought that was really pretty. So I've got all these colors here, and what I did is I just sprayed it with water because I wanted to kind of water them down a little bit more and kind of dilute the color a little bit. Still pretty bright, and again, I was still going, oh gosh, I hope this turns out like I have planned in my head. Sometimes you have, something planned out in your head, and when you start doing it, it's like, this is not looking exactly how I had planned, but I just went with it. And I do love color. I'm a color person. You can look at my past layouts and you can see that I do love color. So it's not like I am one of these that does, a lot of white, and I think they're so pretty, but I can't pull those off. I'm usually got to have some color and some messy stuff on there. So I've got this Heidi Swap mask that I absolutely love. I think it was Nicole Jones, I think, had this mask, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cute because it has stars, hearts, and I think it's like confetti dots, I believe it is, and it's by Heidi Swap. And I had to search all over. I finally found it on Amazon, ended up ordering it. I think it's an older one that she had out, but I absolutely love it. And so I just applied I think it was a texture paste that I applied with that mask. And then now I'm taking some of the Heidi Swap Color Shine and using My Favorite Things Star Stencil and just applying another layer of color with the mist. And so now I'm getting it all dried up. So I've got several layers of things there between the punches, the gesso, the watercolor, and I wanted to pop it. I wanted to put it on a black background because I just thought it would make those colors pop. And so I'm trimming my page a little bit to apply it to the black cardstock. And I'm going to do that before I start putting any more embellishments on it. And what I'm doing on this layout, I'm actually doing it using a photo of me and my daughter. That's my daughter. And this picture was just taken a couple of weeks ago. And she's an only child. We just have the one daughter. And we just have such a great relationship. For those of you moms out there that maybe have young daughters, the important thing is to be a mom to them when they're younger, and when you grow up, you end up being friends. I'm a firm believer that when they're young, your job is to be a mom, and the friendship comes later as they get older. The first thing is to train them and raise them up right, and we've always done that with our daughter. That was always our first priority. And now we're just like, we're best friends. We do everything together. We go shopping together. We play together, whatever. We're very close. And I'm very thankful for that relationship that we have. And she's grown. Sometimes it's like can't believe that I have a grown daughter. I don't feel that old. I don't feel like old enough to be a grandma, but I am. But I wouldn't trade it for anything because we have such a great relationship. And even with her husband, my son-in-law, he's like my son, and we get along great. And so the four of us have a great time. And then with our grandson, of course, he's the light of our world. So anyway, I always kind of get a little mushy when I talk about her because she really is our pride and joy, so to speak. So then I'm using that little back to the layout, that little glitz roller. I guess it's a roller stamp, roller doodler is what it's called. Just to add again another layer of texture. I use My Favorite Things, the gray. I think it's called steel gray ink, and I like it because it's not a harsh black, but the gray just gives it that darker layer, but it's not a harsh black. So I'm just adding some final touches here, some embellishments. You saw the pink stripe sack. That is just a paper sack that I actually have a stash of those, and I like to use them for layering along with the glassine bag. And I'm tucking in, again, some of the punches. That's the notebook punch. And I'm just trying to just do some layering here and getting ready to wrap it up. And I'm just titling it using the thickers. These were actually in the kit. And just titling it simply Me and My Girl. And so I'm getting ready to apply that. And so once I got all the other layers on there with all of the other embellishments and everything, I think the background kind of turned out okay. I was pretty pleased with it because, like I said, I love color. And so anything with color I'm just a fan of. So, and I love those gray thickers. I think with all of the color going on, the gray thickers just worked out really good on there. Now I'm going through my stash of mini stickers, mini alphas, to see if I can find, I wanted a smaller alpha for the me and in my title. I wanted that to be smaller, so I ended up going with the Studio Calico mini alphas, which I love because they have them in so many different colors. And then I'm just adding a little label to the layout to do just a little bit of journaling. Sometimes I get going on my journaling and it's like, ugh, my handwriting is just, I get going too fast. I think everybody feels that way, but you know what? It's my writing, and so it is what it is. And so I just went ahead and put it on there. And I'm finishing up here with just a few, I think they're resin stars. Now, I believe those are actually from Studio Calico. Excuse me, Freckled Fawn. They came in a Freckled Fawn kit. And so I'm just adding a few stars to the layout to wrap it up. And I keep tucking more pieces in there. And that's going to complete the layout. I'm going to show you some still shots here. And again, this is for the Jen Scow challenge. And I hope you've enjoyed watching. I'll put a link to her channel below. She's got a great channel, and you can check it out. And again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.